Welcome to the Wahawk Insiders podcast of Coloring with Conradi. Today we have art teacher Miss Conradi. Do you want to tell the people how long you've been working at West?
I don't know. I have been at West High. I started 2003. So yeah, I traveled back and forth between East and West for a few years, and then been here since.
West was the best.
West was the best. It was. I should not say that out loud. I had a choice, and I preferred the art rooms here over East High.
Today we're going to be coloring some coloring sheets with Miss Conradi because she is an art teacher, and just talking about her experience at West and why she chose to stay at West for so long. So let's dive in. So you said you taught at East for a little bit. Do you think the atmosphere of teaching there is different or the same?
No, actually, it didn't have anything to do with the students, because I literally would be one semester, I'd be at East High, and I'd have the same students here the next semester or the next year. So it wasn't, it just had to do with the space. And they have like 2 art rooms, and up on the 3rd floor, this hallway, the art rooms here were redone as a new wing, and they did the business department at East High. So East High's art rooms are extremely old, and yeah.
Are you excited about the combining of East and West and to be part of that? Do you think you'll want to be part of that?
So we've already had interviews with and tours with the architects for that. I think that it'll be nice. I think that I'm not sure if I will still be teaching by the time it's built, but yeah, I think it'll be nice. What do you think?
I'm excited. I think it's something that's needed. I feel like it will be good for both schools coming together. I feel like it will be more of a community rather than a rivalry.
Right.
Like it's been, which I feel like will help out with a lot of things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited.
Because we communicate, we're really good. We communicate a lot with the other art teachers.
I feel like that's the way it is for a lot of the teachers too. So it's almost like it's not even like you guys are separated. It's just separate buildings.
Right, and we don't, yeah.
So what you teach, how many medias?
So it depends on the semester, but I teach fundamentals of art, the basic, to get them introduced to the arts, and then they can take whatever they want. If they like working with 3-dimensional, they can take a 3-dimensional class with Ms. Schaefer. If they like 2-dimensional, they can take drawing and painting with Ms. Brooks. And then I also teach graphic design, photography, and an advanced photography class, and an advanced drawing and painting class.
Do you have a favorite out of those that you like to teach?
Probably it would be between the advanced drawing and painting and the advanced photography. Those I like both.
I remember taking your photography class when I was pretty sure a sophomore, and I really enjoyed it, and it got me. I was also in yearbook too, so I was starting to learn how to do that stuff, but I was learning how to use the camera in here, so when I got there, kind of already prepared me how to use the camera. So I bet for a lot of students who want to go into taking pictures, it really helps them out when it comes to taking pictures. Did you say?
Yeah, just to help them with compositions and taking a.
And there were so many things we learned about that I didn't even like think about, like just like lines and everything, and how like they can change a picture and how it looks, and then like the lighting is important. And I thought it was so fun that we got to make our own cameras, and
That's my funnest part too.
it was just, and it felt like we were all like really involved in it, and it wasn't like you just doing it for us, which I feel
Right.
like sometimes it's hard for teachers to like teach new stuff, because it's like they kind of just want it to like go through it, but like you're very like hands-on, like you want us to be very hands-on with the project. So I think that's why a lot of students really grasp what we're doing in here.
That's nice to hear.
What do you think is the hardest part about teaching art?
I think supply management. And right now, is this gonna go to the administrator's gonna see this? Right now, it just has to do with things like plumbing, like, because I have 0 running water in the darkroom right now,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. That's the most difficult, is just getting everything, being able to switch out supplies and things. Yeah,
I think,
the rest of it is all good. Yeah.
I think sometimes stuff like the arts are underappreciated by the administration, and I don't think all of them just like don't care about it, but I think that they go unnoticed most of the time, because I truthfully think that a lot of the art classes help with stuff outside of art, like time management, how this is you have to manage your time wisely, otherwise your project won't get done in a certain amount of time. And it's just certain stuff that other things can't teach you.
Well, and there are so many content areas that connect, like everything literally connects to the arts. So with the pinhole cameras, there's chemistry involved in there, right? So you're learning all kinds of other things in addition to, while you're learning aesthetics, you're also learning other content areas without even having to take tests on chemistry and things.
And it was almost like we didn't realize that we were learning something from it, because it was so like enjoyable and fun. And I think that's what a lot of people took away, is that it doesn't have, like, learning doesn't have to be boring.
Right.
And I think that when we're able to like learn with it being fun, we take more away from it, rather than when it's boring and it's just tests and stuff like that.
And do you think that because of the hands-on part of it, that helps?
I really like being hands-on in here.
And do you think that helps to do it in order to learn it, rather than just to like pen and paper?
Yep.
Kind of, or computer.
And like you would always show us how to do it too, like visually, because if you would have just like gave us a piece of paper, I guess, telling us how to do it, I don't think my camera would have turned out the way it did.
Right. Yeah.
But it was like nice seeing how you did it, and like visually seeing other people do it too, that it helped me figure out what I was doing.
And everybody's look different. And that's my favorite thing, is to see all the different ideas that students have. And one student will have this one, and it's all good.
I guess that leads me to my next question, where it's like, what's your favorite part about teaching art?
Students. I've never ever been bored. In the whole time I've worked here, I've never been bored, and I've always learned something new. The students teach me things all the time. Also, and they help keep me up on what words
Lingo.
are being used, and then what words are, oh, no, we don't say that anymore.
Oh.
You know, and it's all good.
I guess as students too, we forget that like we also like teach you guys stuff too, and you're always learning from us as well.
We are,
and
that's a good thing.
Yeah, and I think a lot of like students appreciate like the bond where it's just like we're able to connect with you on that level of being comfortable enough to talk to you like about like what's going on in our lives and stuff like that. Because there is certain teachers out there where it's just like that you're there to
Not
learn
very
and
personal.
that's it.
Yeah.
So, did you always want to be a teacher, or like was?
So when I went to school, I went to UNI, and I was just in visual arts only, and then one of my professors talked to me about, oh, you should get your teaching certificate, and so I did that. When I graduated, at the time, there were very few teacher openings, like for any type of teaching. The market was pretty saturated, and so I started at the Hearst Center for the Arts, and I was education coordinator there for a while, and then probably 9 years, and then I went to the Waterloo Center for the Arts, and I worked there for a little bit, and then I was working and then I got, somebody asked if I would apply for a job at East High. It was part-time, so I had a part-time so I ended up with a full-time job, and then I was in the district for like 3 years and doing both jobs, and then somebody left here and went to an elementary school, the art teacher that was in this room, and so they made me full-time, and then I left the art center, but I'm still on the board, so, and I still know everybody there, so it's all fun.
So you didn't really plan on being a teacher, but I guess that's where your path led you to. If you could go back and be something else, would you have wanted to be something else? And if so, what would you want it to be?
If I think about it now, no. I don't think so. Because now it's the best of both worlds, right? I can create art, and I can teach art, and I'm still involved with the art center. So yeah.
And I feel like you don't only like teach about like just art, it's always like kind of like a life lesson too, like with it, like how we can use it to like do other stuff as well. And I think that's really cool.
Well, I appreciate that.
Of course.
Nice.
What are some of the things that are probably like the hardest about teaching high school students? Because I bet every day is not always yellow paints.
Oh, sometimes when you have 32 students in a room, then it becomes a little bit dicey.
Yeah, with that too, you don't only just have like 30 different students, you have 30 different personalities too.
Right, and space-wise, and if you have 5 or 6 people sitting at a table that's meant for 4, and you have a larger project that you're working on, it gets a little bit. That's why I get all crabby about bags on the table and no open containers.
Yep.
You know.
Is it, so my siblings had you as a teacher, which kind of shows you've been here just enough time, but
in at the conferences in October. First time ever. I had a mom come with her daughter who was a student in my photo class, and she said, I had you too. First time. I'm old.
Is it fun to see like previous students or like even like like students come in and they'll be like, well, my siblings had you, or like my mom had you.
They're probably on my wall.
Okay, that's
and
the
a lot
one
of
thing
times
I love. I love your wall.
I'll recognize, and I'll say, oh, the last name, or I'll just the familiar, and I'll, who's your siblings?
I think it's so cool too that like, I think it's like your wall is like one of the first things like you notice when walking into the room too, because like, and you kind of see like other teachers like starting to like do stuff like that within their classrooms, but they only have like not even a corner of what you have.
Yeah.
And I think it's cool just to look at and just be like able to see all of the students that you've previously had.
Yeah, and then I'll have the siblings, the younger siblings, and then they'll give me stuff for their wall, the wall of fame, and I'll put them next to each other so that they can all be a family.
Do you ever miss like teaching in the summer?
Do I miss teaching?
Like when school's out and everything, do you miss like having that atmosphere? Or do you appreciate like the laid back, getting to like create art by yourself and just like relaxing? Or do you still like do opportunities outside of school to like help?
A lot. Well, I do that, but I also am here in the summer sometimes, just getting the room ready and stuff.
And I bet.
And I work the events sometimes at softball in the summer.
So you don't like being too far from here?
I'm not too far, yeah.
When you think about all of the years spent teaching art, do you have like a specific one that stands out to you? Like a year you're like, this was my favorite year.
I don't really have a favorite year, but I have some that stand out in terms of just how things have changed a little bit. And there were some groups, one class, I'm trying to think of what year that would have been. It would have been before the wall even, I think, maybe. One of my first years, maybe 2005 or 6. And I had a group of students, and one of them is teaching at art at Holmes, but she taught in the room next door for a little while. And then some of the others I've seen at other events at maybe the art center or somewhere, and it's just really fun to see how they've made themselves into these like awesome artists. And yeah, it's just fun to see. And even just last week I had somebody say, do you remember me at the all school opening? And I was like, it's like, Cece, I'm Cece. I'm like, oh yeah. It's like, well, I am like 30 now, so I was like, wow, I'm so old. But it's nice. Or even just sometimes I'll be in a store or a restaurant or something, and I see former students. It's just nice.
Yeah.
I don't know that I have a specific like favorite.
Do you?
I try not to play favorites.
Do you have like any like type of art you wish you could teach to the students here?
Next year I will, because we won't have any Photoshop next year.
Oh no, Photoshop next year?
Next year I'll be like, oh, I wish I could teach Photoshop. We won't have any desktops next year, so.
I remember, I took mixed media with you. I will say it wasn't my
No, you took that with Miss Schaefer.
Not mixed media? Well, it's like the one, we're on the computers up there though.
Oh, graphic design.
Yeah.
Yes.
It wasn't my favorite, but I just think it's because I liked like.
Hands-on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was very like, just everything was on the computer.
Right.
And I like to be like out taking pictures, so.
I like to have a mix of both, and I like to, with the cartoon, in photo, where you made yourself into a cartoon.
I thought that was fun.
Yeah, and that was on the, so some have a blend of old school and new school, so that you get a broader view of everything. But it just makes me sad that we won't even have that option.
So you probably have like a really close bond with like the other art teachers, but they obviously haven't
They're
been.
on my wall too. Well, Ms. Brooks isn't, but Ms. Schaefer's been here a long time too.
I was gonna say they haven't been here quite as long as you have, but obviously like you can tell like you all get along very well. And do you think even though they haven't been here as long as you have, that you still learn like a lot from them? And
yeah, we learn from each other, and not just the other art teachers, but like all of us. Like, yeah.
I think it's cool too when you're able to learn from adults. Like, you never stop learning.
No, you don't.
And I think that's a good thing, because like I feel like if you just did stop learning, like after you stopped school and stuff like that, you would not.
You get stuck in a rut.
Yeah, and you wouldn't like go anywhere. But like it's more like when you are able to learn and continue to learn, it's like you're taking on many different paths than just staying on one.
Yeah, and your mind opens up. Yep.
And I think that's one of the things art is able to do for so many people. It's to open up their minds. Because even people I feel like who don't like art, they come in to a class, they do stuff that they actually find out they like. Because maybe they don't like coloring with pencils, but they like to paint.
Right.
And it opens up their horizon to so many different things that they don't think about. What do you think? What's one thing you wish more people would take away from like art and like seeing it and stuff like that?
I think that what you just said is exactly very apropos. I think that you learn things by doing, and they might not like every single thing, but there's has to be at least one thing that they like, you know, that they find that they like, and then they can follow through. And even if they don't like it, they might find out if they try it that they do like it. Like, oh, this isn't so bad. Because I think a lot of times it has more to do with the person being apprehensive about or not feeling confident.
I think for a lot of people my age too, it's like if you think you're not good at something, you feel like there's no need to try it. But it's great that like a lot of the teachers here are able to like push us to be like, you know, you never know you're not good at it unless you try it. And I think that's one of the things we learn in the art classrooms, is that it's not about being good at it, it's about you liking what you create.
Right. And also it's like sports.
Yeah.
The more you do it, the
better
you
you
get
get.
at it. Practice.
And I think that's like one of the cool things too, seeing that everyone's art style is so different.
Me too.
Rather you think it's good or bad, it's good to someone.
And that's my favorite thing, is that not everything looks the same. And that's the best part of teaching here,
So when you obviously think about like retiring and everything, what do you think you'll miss the most about like your experiences with teaching and like being at West High, and like are there certain things you'll miss but that you'll be able to continue on doing without the school?
I had not really thought about it. I think that probably what I would miss most, will be the students and being able to see all of that, the diversity here. This is why I love this school too, because it's so diverse. I'm never bored and I learn stuff every day. Maybe that. I won't learn stuff every day.
Yeah.
I could come visit.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah, I could be a sub.
Oh. Do you think that like you'll continue teaching for like a lot longer, or do you think that you're gonna like?
Do I know?
No, you just.
Do I know? Do I know?
Yeah,
what,
yeah.
Yeah. I probably will not be here when the new school opens. So.
That's okay though,
Yeah.
you know, and I feel like you said, you're involved with other stuff like within the community about like the Center of the Arts and stuff like that. So it's like your art like here might be done, but like you're still going to like get to see like people in the community that
Right.
like are involved in stuff like that. So I think that's cool that you're going to be able to like still be part of like the community, just not like you
Not
are right
just
now.
on a daily basis, and yeah, right. And all of the art teachers, like, we've all known each other for a long time, and so it's not like even in the summertime we communicate.
Yeah.
We go and yeah.
So I guess one of my last questions for you will be, when it comes to like the students and like their art, I guess we kind of already answered this, but like what's one of the most like memorable things you've learned from like the students as an adult?
I think there's lots of things, lots of things that I've learned from the students. It just for me, it's just, I'm pretty amazed at just about every single day, just to see what they are creating, and I can give them an assignment that's not totally specific and give them choices, and then see what they do, and it just amazes me.
And I think it's
all
cool
the time.
too that like not only like is art just like writing on a piece of paper or like drawing and taking pictures, but it's also like students expressing themselves through like clothing and like makeup and stuff like that.
Right.
And I don't think people would be like as comfortable doing that if they didn't have like art and see like how like bold art can be and how like simple it can be, because there's art everywhere.
There is.
And I think that's what like is super cool about it. But I guess that will wrap up our podcast today. We did a little bit of coloring,
A little bit.
a lot of talking.
Yeah. A lot of talking.
We can show the camera what we made. I had like the Grand
I
Canyon.
Like just a little bit.
Thank you for watching, guys, and tune into the next video from the Wall Hawk Insider.